Before you rush into another year of goals, planners, and vision boards, stop and ask yourself three simple questions. What went great this year? What didn't go great this year? And what will I do differently next year? In this episode, I'm going to walk you through my recap ritual. It's the same three-question process I use with my clients and in my upcoming book, The Five Overwhelm Culprits, to help you close your year with clarity and start your next one with consistency. If you're new here, my name is Corrie Lo, otherwise known as Corrie Lo. I'm a professional keynote speaker, high performance coach, and author of the book, The Five Overwhelm Culprits. And every December, I carve out, I want to say 2 hours for this reflection, but honestly, it's probably way more than that. It might be like a full day, and with good reason why. It's simple, but it's powerful because consistency doesn't come from doing more. It comes from learning faster. And this ritual helps you make every year a little wiser than the last. So to do this, find 2 uninterrupted hours. Block it off on your calendar. Just you, your favorite drink, and a notebook or possibly a Google Doc. If you're like me, I like all digital. Truth is, you don't need to make this complicated at all. What matters most is creating the space to think, which is why we want to block off the time on the calendar. And you want to do this before your next year fills up with everybody else's priorities. This is why we are doing this. Once you're settled in, then it's time to ask yourself the questions, i.e. the recap ritual. This recap ritual framework, it's 3 deceptively simple questions that give you the insight that you need to move forward with consistency. And let me tell you, this is something I have done every single year for, no joke, over a decade. At this point, these questions are so simple, but so powerful. The first question is, what went great this year? Reflect on, what are you most proud of? Where did you grow the most? Where did you succeed? Where did you surprise yourself? List it all out, brain dump, everything, big and small. What were like the best highlights of the year? One thing that I love to do that I find really helpful with this, because sometimes it's difficult to remember what you did 365 days ago. I know I have a hard time remember what I ate for lunch yesterday. So one thing that I do that's super helpful is going through things where I have a digital footprint, like my calendar. Go through my Google Calendar and look, and I'll be like, oh, I forgot I did that event. Or even looking through my email. Oh, I forgot that I got that message from that person that I aspire to be one day. You have those kind of reminders in your system. That's a great way to jog your memory. Look at your photos on your photo thread, whether it be on social media, in your iPhone. Look at all the photos that you took. These are great ways to jog your memory on what were all the things that went great. And while you're collecting all this information, you could also reflect on the second question. What were things that didn't go well? So where were some things that maybe fell off track? Maybe you overcommitted, or maybe you avoided something that definitely needed attention. This is a time to be honest. This isn't about any kind of guilt. This is simply about bringing awareness. Because if we don't reflect on what didn't go well, we can't create a plan to strategize how we're going to handle it differently moving into the new year so that we have a different result. Then from there, we're reflecting on, what am I going to do differently next year? This is so much simpler when you know what was great and what was really awful. So the really awful stuff is going to, especially if you do the reflection, you see like, oh, okay, well, I did it like this. It didn't work. Maybe next time I could try it this way, right? This is where your reflection turns into strategy. So what boundaries, what systems, what habits will you implement to start to build more consistency? This ultimately is what's going to become your roadmap. Now, the other thing that's important to know too is this system, you can reflect from 2 different lenses, right? So you could use these exact same questions personally as well as professionally. As an example, maybe your business grew, but your well-being didn't. You burnt yourself out in the process. Or maybe your home life absolutely flourished, but your professional goals took a back seat. Looking at the duality of who you are as a person, both in your career as well as personally, looking at all the areas of yourself gives you a full picture of your year. It's not just your productivity. And once you've done your recap from there, you're going to connect it back to your 5-year vision exercise. This is something I went over in the Find Your Why episode. It's episode 2. and we'll make sure that we link to it in the show notes. So the recap ritual is great in that it tells you what's working right now. Your 5-year vision tells you where you're going next or where you're planning on going next. Together, both of them create the consistency that you need to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It helps keep you accountable, and it helps keep you documenting the process so that you know where to pivot if necessary and how to continue with your momentum. So from here, it's simple. You're going to set your intention for the year ahead. You're going to look at all the reflection that you've done so far, and there's going to be a very common theme that's going to come up. Usually, I know for me, I can encapsulate it in a single word. So you're going to end your reflection by writing one intention for the year. It could be a one word of the year, or it could be a phrase, anything that captures the energy that you want to bring into it. So some great examples from my own past recaps include in 2019, my word was believe. And it made a lot of sense why the word was believe, because in 2018, that year, I had so many what went bad things on the list. I had lost a partner to suicide. I just quit my job, didn't have any security. There were so many things that were bad. And going into the new year, I knew what needed to change was I had to believe that I could have something different. And no joke, true story. The very next day after setting that word, I had done all of this on New Year's Eve. I usually do this process on New Year's Eve. On New Year's Day, I met my now husband through eHarmony. So by believing it, the universe delivered right away. Some other words I've chosen in the past, one year I did the word boundaries because I recognized through my recap ritual that my boundaries were preventing my growth. So I focused an entire year on that. Over the past year for me, it's been visibility. That was a big one that I knew was holding me back. So having that one word intention or word of the year can be very, very helpful to act as North Star going into your next year, that if you're making a decision and it doesn't align with what that word that you set for yourself, it's a very easy no. So that word becomes your compass for consistent action. It ultimately is the theme of your next chapter in the next year. So I'd love to know, what is one thing that you want to do differently in the new year? Drop it in the comments. You might inspire somebody else's recap. And if you're ready to take your recap ritual deeper and turn those insights into a crystal clear, actionable plan for next year, I'd love to guide you through it personally in a Vision to Action VIP strategy day. These are private one-day intensives where we map out your 5-year vision, your annual goals, and your exact systems that you're going to need to stay consistent all year long. Again, this is completely customized. This is all for you and what your vision is. You walk away with total clarity on your direction, as well as the strategy and systems to make it happen. You can learn more and book your Vision to Action VIP day using the link in the show notes. And do know too, it is capped. I only do 8 of these a year. So if you're interested, make sure that you apply today. I truly hope that you found this valuable in helping you reset and reflect going into the new year. And remember, consistency isn't about never falling off track. It's about pausing long enough to learn from where you've been and how you can move forward with clarity and confidence. So I will see you in the next episode in the new year. We are taking a quick break. Team Corrie Lo and Co. We do a holiday break every year about this time. You'll see new episodes from us in the new year, and I cannot wait to see you there. So Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for checking out The Next Step with Corrie Lo. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend, subscribe, and leave a review. Together, we'll transform overwhelm into action, and we'll keep taking the next step towards confident leadership. See you next time.